Are you ready to learn how I edit my Instagram photos so they look like this? Then keep on watching. I'm gonna take you through my whole Instagram photo process. Hey, welcome back to my channel. My name is Katie Steckly, and here on YouTube, I love to talk all things Instagram, YouTube, filmmaking, and freelance. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of my future videos. I upload every Sunday, Tuesday, and Friday. All right, today I'm gonna show you my step-by-step process for editing my photos for Instagram. I know some people can really go on in these videos, so we're just gonna cut to the chase. The whole thing starts in camera roll. I never take an Instagram photo within the Instagram app. I always just take them with my regular phone camera, and they end up here in my camera roll. As you can see, I like to take several options for each picture so that I can figure out which one looks the best later. The next step in the process is going through and selecting some favorites. So as you can see, I have hearted some of these so that they are sort of set aside. These are my favorite ones. Once I've selected my favorites, I'm gonna do one of two things. My process can vary sometimes. I'm either gonna hop over to VSCO Cam or I'm gonna go to Lightroom. Normally I start with VSCO because it is faster. I think I've got some filters there that I like, but if I can't achieve the look that I'm aiming for with VSCO, then I'll go over to Lightroom and do stuff that's a little bit more small tweaks, and it does allow a little bit more customization. But first things first, I open up VSCO Cam, I pop over to favorites instead of just all, so then I can easily find the pictures that I've already selected, and then I'm gonna pick this one and click import. I open up edits, and then I'm gonna go through my filters. So I've purchased like the E series, I think it's called. I really like to use either E1 or E2 a lot of the time. So I kind of like the warmer tone that E2 is giving in this picture. So I'm gonna select that, but I'm gonna turn down the intensity so it's not quite as filtered looking. Now that I'm happy with that, I'm gonna go over to the editing panel to do some fine tuning. Sometimes I like to up the exposure a little bit, though with this one I actually am gonna bring it down because it's quite a bright day. Then contrast, I probably will actually pull down the contrast because it's just a little bit too dark for me. I usually don't do a lot with sharpening, clarity, or saturation. I find it gives a sort of unnatural look. So I'm gonna go over to white balance, and I do like a bit of a warmer look, so I'm just gonna pop that up a little bit. I don't do anything with the tint because in general, your camera phone is gonna give you a natural tint, so if you go one way or the other, it's just gonna end up looking purple or green. That's usually the extent of what I would do in VSCO Cam, and depending on the setting and the photo, one of those filters is gonna give me the look that I'm looking for. So here's the before and after. Looking at this now, I'm realizing that I'm not super pumped about it. The blues aren't really popping the way I want them to. And because I don't have the pro version of VSCO, I can't do the HSL sliders in this app. So what I'm gonna do instead is open it up in Lightroom. But like I mentioned, if it was the right photo, the right setting, then those would have been pretty much all the changes I would make in VSCO. So here we are in Lightroom. I'm just gonna import this photo. I'm gonna start out by using the light control here, and I think I'm gonna pop down the exposure a little bit because it was quite bright that day. I'm also gonna lower the contrast because the shadows are very severe in this photo. The highlights I am going to bring up just slightly. The shadows I'm also gonna bring up because you can't see hardly any detail in my overalls there. As you can see, if I lift it all the way, there's a lot more detail to it, but obviously I don't want to go so far. I'm gonna leave the whites where they are, but I'm gonna bring up the blacks just slightly, again, to make it a little less contrasty. Now that I'm happy with the general exposure, I'm gonna move over to color, where I will go to the mix panel here so that I can do each color individually. I'm gonna leave the reds where they're at. I'm gonna go over to orange because I can tell already with the blue and then the red roof of this barn, I wanna do like an orange and teal kind of look. So I'm just gonna slide around the hue on the orange until I get where I wanna go. I don't think I wanna go more red. I wanna go towards the orange side, but definitely not all the way or my skin tone looks off. So I'm just gonna slightly edge towards the orange. Saturation, I'm gonna just push up a little bit. And luminance, we're gonna leave where it is. Then I'm gonna go over to blue, and I'm gonna slide the hue towards teal. You can already see the huge difference that is making in my jacket and the sky. I'm gonna actually bring down the saturation a little bit so it doesn't look so unnatural. And again, we're gonna leave the luminance right about where it is. To finish off, I'm gonna go back over to the reds and just move that around until I'm happy with how it looks. I'm just gonna bring it a little bit more towards orange to kind of fix some changes that happened in my skin tone there while I was adjusting. And then saturation, I'm gonna bring down a little bit. And yeah, I think I'm gonna keep the luminance where it's at. So those are the main color changes that I wanna make. And essentially by changing these HSL sliders with each individual color, that's kind of what a VSCO preset is just doing to your photos. So if you wanna be able to very specifically change that and customize it, then I think that Lightroom works really well for that, or if you have the paid version of VSCO. Now that we're back on the main page with white balance, I'm just gonna kind of move it around until I like it. I like it a little bit warmer, so maybe not that intense there. +7 is right in the sweet spot. Tint, again, we're keeping that the same. Vibrance, pop it up just a little bit so that it stands out in the feed. And then that is pretty much all I'm gonna do with that. To finish things off, I'm just gonna go back over to light and change things a little bit so that it all looks good. The last but very important step in this editing process is changing the aspect ratio to 4:5. Since that is the ideal aspect ratio for Instagram, you're getting the full image in, but also showing up as big in the feed as possible. So I'm just gonna adjust it, and I actually might do a little bit of rotating to get the horizon right. So here's the final result. This is the after and here is before. So you can really see how the teal and orange came out there, and I just really warmed it up. I'm gonna then click on the 3 dots, press select this image, and then share. And I'm gonna say save to camera roll, maximum available. And then I'm ready to post it on Instagram. And that's my photo editing process, nothing less, nothing more. I started out learning how to do this in VSCO, but then now use Lightroom because I have an Adobe Creative Suite subscription. So then I figure I might as well use Lightroom instead of paying for the VSCO app. I do like the VSCO filters, like I said. If the photo is right, if the situation is right, it can look really good. But sometimes I can't quite get the look that I'm going for, so then I pull it into Lightroom to completely just customize the look. I know Lightroom can be intimidating at first because there's so many different options and different things that you can change, but I would encourage you to just go in and play around and see what different changes result in, so then you get an idea of how you might edit your pictures in the future. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, make sure you go check out this one. Clicking on this video really helps me in the algorithm, but of course it would also help me if you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any of my future videos. Like I said, I upload every Sunday, Tuesday, and Friday, and I wouldn't want you to miss them. As always, I hope that you are having adventures and following your dreams, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!